Well, it actually brings up something else that,
Why am I not surprised?
because while I watch videos so much, and I'm, because I just want to, like, I want to know what's going on in the world and things like that. And another one that I was looking at, and this goes along with this too. So it might be another evil that we see in the world, but it's drugs. And so maybe they don't revert to being a criminal or do that, but maybe they end up going with drugs. And one thing that I was looking at was that it said 33,000 in the US died of opiate related deaths in 2015, and that was more than double from 2014, and that's like the trend that we're on.
Yeah.
And
You'll have to forgive me. Is opiate based? Is that heroin?
I believe opiate, yes, I believe heroin is an opiate. And then I think there's a lot of the prescription drugs that you can get easily. Those are opiates.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Um, but yeah, I mean, and you know, I was gonna bring up like why is it going up so fast? But like you just said, that we as a society, like we're like severely lacking in compassion, and this is something that we need to look at. And I feel like it's something that we as a society really need to become more aware of right now with
Yes.
the whole prison system thing and the
Mhm.
drug thing, and like I feel like this is all kind of coming together.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The drug thing is such a a collective cry for help. And that's all it is. If you take, so just in general, don't pick on me because I'm going to choose certain countries or whatever. Let's just take in general. Let's take France and England. Both countries have a drinking culture. Okay. They both have a culture based around alcohol. So in France, it's wine. In England, it's beer. It doesn't really matter. But the way that it's viewed is so completely different, right? But what I would challenge people to look at is how the people deal with it as an indicator of their level of satisfaction with life. So in France, there is not a massive problem with alcoholism, right? They drink every day. Of course, wine is a huge part of their lives, but it's meant to be something that's shared with family and close friends. And it's something that binds them, brings them together in that space that creates more connection and love, right? Now, if you move it over to the UK, they have an enormous problem right now, enormous problem with alcoholism, like scary bad. And if you look at their society, you've got a whole bunch of young people who are in massive amounts of pain and they don't know how else to deal with it. So they go out drinking. And yeah, you could say, well, they're using that as a way to be more social and more connected, but it's coming out of pain. So they're coming together to share their pain, and not from a place of healing it, but from a place of almost in a sick, twisted way, kind of celebrating it together. And that's part of that same part of the ego that's kind of like, screw you, who needs you? And that's that mentality. They're angry at the government, they're angry at their parents, or they're angry at the world, whatever it is like, fine, screw it, let's just go get drunk and act crazy, and get alcohol poisoning because they're drinking so much. I mean, it's really a problem over there. So it's a marker of where we're seated collectively. It really is. And it has to be paid attention to. And yes, like the heroin problem in this country is ridiculous right now. And of course, everyone's looking at kind of, well, it's the cartels and this and the that. And I'm going to say to you, if you've got a kid who's raised in a really loving environment and who is nurtured and is respected by his elders, that kid is not likely to end up being a drug addict. Just not likely. Because he already has bonds in place that he would have an awareness that bringing something like that in would mess that up, right? So who's going to choose that for themselves? Now, I'm not going to say in every case that that's the way it works out. But by and large, if you've got kids who are raised where they know they're loved, they know they're accepted, and there are adults around who are there to foster their growth and nurture them as they continue, and their teachers are doing the same thing, they're going to grow up, and not to say that they won't drink when they're of age, because what kid isn't going to do that? Okay. And maybe they're going to go to college and experiment a little bit with whatever kind of drug. Okay, so that happens too. But are they generally people who end up dying from overdoses of heroin? No. But where do you see it? So you see it mostly in areas where the collective is really not sitting in a good place. And I think that that's a large part of why it's such an issue, because I think there are so many, if you go to places like this, and I speak this from a fairly personal place, from my understanding, the area that I grew up in has a major heroin problem right now, which shocked me because it's a very small town, and whoever would have thought that that would end up being predominant there. However, if you look deeper, you can see why. You've got people, because of where it's located, there's not a lot of job opportunity. The weather is crap most of the year, all these different things. And then on top of it, the mentality that sits there collectively is not, it's very sarcastic, very, I'm from the Northeast. So it's very sarcastic and, just very cutting and all that. And when you grow up in that and that's normal to you, you don't realize how painful it is until you get out of it for a while. And then you go back into it and you're like, ooh, like I always thought that was funny, but actually that hurts. Right. And so I take my pain and I turn around and do it to you to hurt you back. And we all laugh about it because haha, isn't it funny? But what's really sitting there is you got a whole lot of people who are in a whole lot of pain and nobody is talking about it, much less talking to their kids about it. And so I see a massive problem as far as just the parents owning up to their role in the whole thing too. And what it takes is for communities where something like this is an issue to come together as a community and to say, okay, we've all failed the kids. Maybe the church has failed the kids, the parents have failed the kids, the education system has failed the kids. Like we've all failed the kids. So let's not sit here and blame each other. Mm-hmm. Let's work together to come up with a solution, right? Something that will work for the kids. And until we're capable of coming together, owning our part in whatever it is that needs fixing, until we can all own our part and then come together from that place where we're willing to work with others to correct it, like it's just going to continue to escalate. And we'll just do the same thing, just bring in more police or, but violence only begets violence. That's just the way it is. And that's the way it will always be. It has to come from a different place. The solution has to come out of the heart. It can't come from the space of, the ego. It can't, or it won't work.